Hello and welcome to another video of KP Talks. I'm here to review the feature matches I had at Nationals, go over some of the decks that I played. I know in my previous video with Viridian and Sam, we kind of talked about that already, but I've got a lot of requests from people and questions from people that I would like to go over and answer. Um, and I also have a spoiler. So I guess so. You guys don't have to go to the very end of the video for the spoiler. I guess I can just show that right now. All right, Roble Akbel. This was one of the cards that was previewed on the original post about the set, but just didn't have any text. So 7 CP, 7 drop, 7K, um, Fire Earth. When it enters the field, choose a character. If you have 5 or more fire and or earth backups, break it. So I feel like we get a lot of these like niche fire earth cards that are pretty interesting, but I don't know where they belong, kind of a thing. I think the only playable fire earth deck that's existed is Avalanche with the starter deck, and that was an aggro deck. So this kind of card makes you wonder if they're ever going to try and make a fire earth control deck. Because right now, I think the only place where this could maybe belong is mono earth. And this is a pretty hefty costed card. If you're doing this, then that means you're not double Tidusing in mono earth. However, this card is technically a catch all because it can break any character. Um, Also, it's requiring you to have 5 backups, and mono fire at the moment doesn't really have a good way to fix for earth, so it's really hard to play this card in mono fire. Maybe if there's like a mono fire deck, like a warrior deck, and you splash some of the earth warriors in it, maybe that's a way to enable it in mono fire. But at the moment, I think this is basically a mono earth card until we see more reason to be both fire and earth. So I think this card right now is just like mid. It is exactly fine. It's good that it exists because it's a catch-all. So like the way I look at these cards is, you this card's obviously not like anything insane, right? But I don't think it's mediocre either. Uh, Sometimes it's worth paying more to make sure that you can remove something. And being in the LB, you can usually do that, at any time. In this case, you can't because you have to have 5 backups. So to me, that's just a restriction of like how soon can you play this card. Well, imagine if you could play this card like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Well, then this card would be kind of busted, right? Because you could just blow up backups at will. So that limiter of having 5 backups is kind of important. Okay. I think that's basically all I have to say about this. But pretty interesting card. Thank you, Square Enix, for the spoiler, and hope to get more in the future. So let's go over the decks real quick. Let me see. Okay. So I played Knights as deck A and Water Lightning Monsters as deck B. I'll go over Water Lightning real quick because I think it's going to be pretty simple. Um, I've had this deck in my back pocket for over a year now. The Kansas City people really wanted to play this deck last year at Nationals, and we didn't because Mono Earth was like the best deck in format, basically. Um, and this deck's worst matchup is Mono Earth between Neo Exeth and Shantaro LB. Also, this deck back then, you didn't really have room to play the Canto Leviathan, and I think you have that room now. Back in the day, you'd play a lot of EX bursts because of aggressive decks like Chaos, for example. You'd have to kind of play Lev 6. Um, I don't remember if we played Kuchulin back then or not, but the deck had 6 Odin, 6 Lightnings as well. Just a totally different environment, and just a lot of things to switch around. Like the backups have definitely gotten better as well since back then. And also we have graph now, so like Melusine graph. We didn't have that a year ago. So um but I've been playing this deck with the Kansas City guys for over a year now. We always try. There's a bunch of different ways to build this deck. Verdian and Sam both had RNA in their deck. Some of the original versions of this deck had like 3 RNAs, maybe even a Freya for the dual element, and then Sarah backup and King Ramesia backup, because that adds a lot of burst to the deck, and it also adds haste because RNA is kind of sick. Into ETB, remove something, attack, and it's a 9K first striker. So um, I didn't play that this go around because I had Siren in my version. So, but it is something that sometimes this deck can flex in and play. But this was my comfort pick, and I think that for this event, I wanted my comfort pick to be my second deck, and I wanted my risky pick to be my first deck, which to me risk was Knights. So I said this in the last video. I tried to outmath the math, and by that I mean I tried really hard to not play this Lilith. But so like originally, like in a perfect world here, um, I think my old Knights deck had like 3 Larsa, 3 Lina, and 1 Merweb, and no Lilith, no Miwa, and that became like a lot of different things. Like that could be the third Ifrit. That could be um what was it? Oh, I had extra Clives in as well, 3 CP Clive. I've had Kuchelins in before. Um Extra Knight, like an extra Physalis. Oh, Renoa. Renoa was a big one too. Yeah. So the reason I played some of these wonky cards is because I felt like I kind of had to, with Lina being in the other deck. Lina being in Lightning Water meant that I lost 3 water cards and I needed it to be replaced. And I think Miwa was the best water card to replace it with. Kuchelin is up there and I played a lot of it, but I think Miwa's blowout potential was what got me to play Miwa instead. Um, like, don't get me wrong, Kuchelin's still pretty solid, and I wouldn't blame you if you want to play Kuchelin. However, also not having water backups all the time also means you're discarding a card to play the Kuchelin. So if I'm discarding a card, maybe the Miwa is just better value, because if I play a Knight's Mirror or against an Axstar deck, which I think a lot of people, I was expecting like the majority of the room to have one Axstar deck. So um, in that case, Miwa is just really good. I mean, there's also times where like you play against Wall 7 and they like Axstar into Gilgamesh or whatever. They don't freeze your whole board. They attack with Gilgamesh, trying to expect that there's 3 attacks, and you're just like, Miwa, untap my Corilla, block. Right? Like that happens, and it did happen, and that's a lot more swingy than a Kuchelin that can maybe get like specialed from a Wall 7 special. So I just like the blowout potential. Also, it works with your own Ramza. I never got that to work. I know it's pretty rare, but whatever. It does work with the Ramza. And it also works with Kuja, which I didn't do in the tournament, but I did with in testing with Kuja. Um, but yeah, I think some outliers here. 3 Beatrix. So I played against a lot of decks, and what actually got me to play 3 Beatrix the most was playing against Mono Earth and them having multiple 9Ks. And that was really bothersome because you could just dual freeze one out of the way, right? But the next best way to get rid of multiple 9Ks was Clive Ifrit. Well, you didn't always have Clive Ifrit, and that's a lot of resources and commitment. So when I didn't have that, my next best option was play a bunch of Knights or play like Heretical Might Garland into red, right? That's a lot. That's another way you can. If you already had Beatrix in play, then you don't even you just need to have the elements. You don't need to draw anything specific. You just, like I draw the ice card and the fire card, but you don't have to draw two knights, for example. That's one of the other reasons I played red, is just because big forwards meant a lot, and it was hard to get by them. And Zach LB, I never once comboed it with Garland. I probably played, I don't know, 75 games or so before nationals with this deck, and I never zacked with Garland once. The only time I zacked was because I needed an LB out in the field, so and I needed it with a fire card. So and in those games I was losing anyways, so it didn't even really matter. So okay, that's not true. I did it to kill opposing Leo. That's about it too. But nothing impressive. So I figured red is, while I can't really maximize this, I won't ever gain the first ability with all the haste and stuff. The +2 has been super relevant for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of 7Ks in the game right now, and trading my little guys for their 7Ks that have good effects are worth it. And like I said, going over the top is also really worth it. I mean, sometimes I'll red with, like, I'll play Clive, I won't prime, and I can red, and this is a 10K now, and it's like, sometimes if they have a 9K, you sometimes it's weird. There are some situations where you don't want to Clive into Ifrit, or you can't because you drawn them all, or drawn all the Ifrits. In that case, it's just like this Clive is just static 8K, whatever. It's still obviously very good, but you got to push things out of the way. But if you can't push them out of the way, you can just make your guys bigger. So they're always going to chump block Clive because they don't want you to draw cards. Something else that can happen is, like, you could attack with Clive and have a card in hand, and if they don't block, they're like, okay, it's not that bad because they discard one and draw two. Well, if you have a Physalis, you can use Physalis' ability before you use Clive's ability. So Clive's on the stack, respond with Physalis, discard the card, exile the top two cards, and then draw two from Clive. And now you can play those exiled cards with the cards you drew from Clive. So, like, that's something that's a little bit niche and can happen as well. Yeah. What else? I think the biggest thing here is why didn't I play like 3 Ifrits, and why did I play Sidwaf? So the Ifrits, I wanted, in this specific deck, I felt like I wanted around 20 water cards. It was very clear that, like, fire was coming a little bit more dominant because I don't have the water backups, and I'm playing Elwyn because Merweb is in the other deck. So, and I played with Meath for a while. Actually, before I played Sidwaf, I played 3 Larsa, 3 Elwyn, 1 Meath. Discard at cost, search for another cost. I didn't feel like the multi one was good because it's like, okay, if I discard Steiner, that's good. If I discard Delita, that's good. Well, if I have Gawain, I'm not discarding Gawain. Gawain's what I want. So, so I had the 2 costs that you could discard to search for another of the same cost, but that one didn't work as well either. So I ended up experimenting with Sidwaf because of the Japan tournament that came out a week or two before our Nats, and it was a tournament where, like, half of the tournament was on knights, and then the entire top cut was knights. Yeah, none of them had Renoa, all of them had Sidwaf, and it was something I wanted to experiment with, and it worked out. So, I think in a perfect world, I don't know what a list would look like if I didn't have any restrictions, but the first things I'd be looking at is playing Lina in the deck again. Maybe playing 3 Ifrits. 2 is fine, but the reason I didn't do it here again is because of colors. So, and I needed water cards. So, like, in this case, I'd much rather prefer the Miwa, or any water card, honestly, but the Miwa instead of the 3rd Ifrit because I wanted more water. if I had one more free spot, I'd probably still play another water card before playing the third Ifrit. But yeah, um, Elwyn was exactly fine. So the way I rank the backups is water is the most important by a large margin because of Agrius. Agrius is extremely important when you have water. Like when you're just top decking, this is like you can play a lot of cards when you're top decking, but you need to sometimes make plays that don't cost you your draw step. And Agrius is exactly that. It costs you half your draw step. You just tap it back up and play a 1 mana card, and next turn you can play a 5 cost at that point. Like, or you can LB6 or whatever. You're basically accruing resources when you play this Agrius off of backup. Um, and I think that's very important. However, in this version, it's still very good, but it's a lot less good because I have 3 different element backups. So I think water is the most important backup uh, element, followed by fire, because I don't even think it's because of Amma. Uh, the Ramza is one of the main reasons, I would say, because I feel like a lot of your fire cards in this version, I have like 23 or something fire, so it's not that big of a deal. But I think that having access to fire, giving you like you can actually cast your Steiners, which I think is reasonable. Uh, I think that Elwyn specifically, the one strength that it has. So obviously, like between I'm comparing it to Merweb, because I think Merweb is better than Elwyn. However, the one thing that Elwyn can do is search for Clive, and I think that is humongous because Merweb can't do that. Merweb, you're getting Gawain or Corilla most of the time, and sometimes your hand lines up to go get Clive, and that can that can be a big deal when your opponent, maybe your opponent Clive Ifrited you. Well, then having a way to counter Clive Ifrit with Clive Ifrit is super strong. Um, and then Sidwaf. So I played this deck because I wanted to play 2 tempo decks, and I'm by no means like the best knight player, but I'm definitely not. But if I'm gonna take any calculated risks, I want to make sure that when I'm going for something, that it's going to be effective. So in an aggro deck, all this is like context dependent. Um, but like when I'm playing against Earth decks, the thing I'm worried about is Shantoto, right? Uh, LB Shantoto or backup Shantoto, and you can play around that before you make your attacks. Um, with like just normally, but you can play around it even more absolute with Sid Waff in play. And when you have Sid Waff, they can't gain CP anymore because they burst a Thornton to go search for it. Oh, now they have to discard a card. Yeah, you don't even have to hit the Shantoto if they search for it, but like they can never draw a card while you have Sid Waff in play because they'll discard a card. So they'll have the same amount. If you, it's like, oh, they have 6 CP, they can never get higher than 6 CP if you calculate for it um, in combat when you have Sid Wolf in play. If you have a Lena in play, that is not true. So in theory, against the Earth matchups, it's better to have Sid Wolf than it is to have Lena. However, the opposite side of that is like if you're playing against Lightning Water monsters or against bursts that don't have board wipes but have decks that don't have board wipes but have bursts that remove things, like Odin's, um, like Fire Water Warriors, or just warriors in general, or just fire. Um, things that have like just EX burst kill something. Sid Waff is fine there, but it's not what I would want. I would want Lena there because when they remove my thing, I'd rather draw a card than have them discard a card. They will happily discard a card to remove one of my forwards. That's the difference. So there are some matchups where Lena's better. There are some where Sid Waff's better. So I would kind of want both. But that being said, I don't know what the perfect backup line would be with this deck. And a normal format. I don't know if I don't want to play 10 backups, but I'm leaning towards a higher backup count. Um, but it's a little bit awkward because I don't normally want more than one backup in play unless it's against like an Earth deck. So I don't know. Okay, let's get to the games real quick. Yeah. I'll try to read the chat on the side as well, and if it has anything relevant to do with the match, I will try to answer it. Can I make this any bigger? Theater. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Can I do the other one? Yeah. Theater. Okay. Alrighty. So, I'll just look at my hand here real quick. It is Corilla, Ifrit, Miwa, Clive, Gawain. And I don't recall if I mulligan this hand or not, but this hand's exactly fine. I'm guessing I lead here with Gawain, keep a Krill in my hand, and then I think I would pass. I could see myself warping a Ramza if it resolves, but I don't think I would with this hand because of Clive, and Clive's pretty valuable, especially when you have no backups. Clive's really good. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, this is against a cadet player, and I don't remember. Is he gonna Alma me? Okay, he does on turn 1. Okay. And in this case, so actually with this hand too, so if I had a fire card instead of this Miwa, I don't know if I would Clive attack here because the last card's Corilla, and I think I would value the Corilla higher than the Clive. And I think mainly that's because I discarded another Corilla already. There's also the fact of like with this hand, if I draw a Ramza, it's kind of sick. Something I noticed too after this flip was he's not wind lightning, he's fire lightning. So I've played against a lot of cadets before, but they've never been fire lightning, and I don't know everything that's going to be in this kind of version. However, just generally speaking, I did. Oh, I do Gawain Ramza. Generally speaking, fire lightning has a lot of removal, right? So I would want to be careful, but also be assertive enough before he can remove everything. So I go for the Ramza here specifically because he can't Alma me. So hang on, let's go back real quick. So can I? Yes. No, I can't do everything. So I was wondering, can I Gawain, search for Ramza, fire card, warp, and play? And the answer is no. Play Clive. The answer is no. So in this case, I just go for the Ramza and give up on the Clive, which is a little unfortunate, but this is shields down, so I go for it here. Also, the ace that he grabbed isn't a removal spell until he has a critical mass of cadets, so I'm not too scared of it, but I don't know what the other card is. Need to know what sleeves KP is using. These are the new Dragon Shields. I think they're called Blossoms. And those are Chapters Lightning sleeves. Okay. So Garland or 2 forwards that do nothing. And I think I'm taking 2 here because, yeah. The Garland getting back Gawain, it's not guaranteed that I can play the Gawain next turn. So having 4 knights in play is just more valuable. Especially if he does something like Clive Ifrit here. That being said, like what I'm thinking of off the top of my head is he's fire lightning, so maybe he clouds something. but I also there's too much unknown here. I don't know exactly what his deck's capable of. So just being on the safe side of play 4 knights, I think that's totally reasonable, and there's nothing wrong with that. KP on knights, unexpected. Yeah. Um, Something that I've said a little bit, I think I've said this on a video, I'm not sure, is. Oh, I can speed this up actually. I'm going to speed this up before I forget. 2 times. Okay. Is whenever I play. Whenever I play test with Kansas City people, the majority of the time I'm the knight player. I think Tyler Ray is another one, but he hits this EX burst ace, but it doesn't do anything. It does 2k to something, whoop de doo. Um, but eventually I was just like, okay. And then I was playing a little bit different than a lot of normal knight players. By normal, I mean like a lot of people just go for it. I play it way differently. I warp realms a ton. I play conservatively unless I have to be aggressive. And I kind of enjoyed the play style because, like I said, tempo, right? And that's basically why I ended up playing knights, is because I don't feel like I take risks unless I have to take risks. And if, like in this place, I have 4 forwards in play. I don't need to do anything until my opponent stops me. Get ahead, stay ahead kind of thing. And once they try to counter what I've already put out, then I will be a little more assertive. Then I will use all my resources. Now, this being said, I did go handless. I had no backups. This was a scenario of, I kind of risked it, but it was a free risk because my opponent couldn't stop me. So, okay, so this Ifrit is going to remove 2 of my forwards. And then, so now I'm down to 1. So this is where, like imagine if I had a Clive Ifrit here. That'd be kind of insane. So I didn't see what I had. I'm going to pause when I see my hand again. Garland, Laswell. Do I have a knight hand? Do I have 3 elements? Okay. Beatrix, Garland, Laswell, Agrius. Yeah, so most likely I think I'm just Surgising this Ifrit, and then my opponent's going to top deck something. Maybe play another Cloud to kill my Surges, and then we're back to square one. But I think in those scenarios I'm ahead because my Krill is still attacking. So that's like a bare minimum, right? He could do something worse, but I'm fairly confident that's what I'm going to end up with. But I'm deciding, do I keep the Beatrix or do I keep the Agrius? Okay, so I'm going to play Leo first because I'm just trying to get damage in. So the same exact thing what I just said. So Knight hand, all 3 colors. Drew Ramza. So now I'm definitely going to Surges. There's a small chance I would actually go for a Beatrix here instead. LB Beatrix. But there's no way. That's too risky. I would not do that. So now I'm representing a lethal. If I draw an ice card, I can Kuja on a blocker. So yeah, like that cloud play I mentioned before, that's like the bar. He can play a cloud here, kill a Surgis or a Leo, and then next turn if I draw an ice card, I can Kuja and then attack with the other 2. Where the ceiling is like him drawing double Ifrit, I guess, and killing 2 forwards. That would be really bad for me. So this is where there's a difference between Cloud, which he did have a Cloud. I don't know. Yeah, he discarded a purple card. But he wants the first strike here. So it's the same thing. If I draw an ice card, I win. I don't draw an ice card, though. And I pass. So I could have played a Beatrix and attacked. But I didn't. And I think that's because I want to, I can slow this game down. He can't really have any free attacks here. Like, he could attack with Ifrit, but, like, that's still pretty risky. Okay, so this is all of his LB. And I was thinking, okay, because of the Ramza in my hand, I can play the Ramza. That's why I wait. Oh, I couldn't play Beatrix. I lied. I'm going too quick here. I believe my hand was Amma, Ramza, Beatrix. Yeah, it was. So I couldn't play Beatrix. So that's why I passed. I could have LB'd, I guess, but I don't think that's right. I could have LB'd red and attacked. I also don't think that's right. So in this case, it's like, what's the worst thing you can draw for me to Amma? There isn't really anything. This is me. I'm going to Ramza next turn. And if it resolves, it's great. And then he played Gilgamesh and got rid of my 2 Corellas. So that was a little unfortunate. But there's still a very good chance that I'm just Ramzaing next turn anyways. So let's speed back up. So I drew the Elwyn here, but I can't Elwyn, Clive Ifrit all at once. I would need one more fire card. But if I could, that'd be insane. So what I am assuming is going to happen, yeah, Ramza for Gawain. And then just chill. Because, again, Josh can't Amaterasu this. So now, no matter what, I get to play this Corella next turn. It was a little unfortunate drawing 2 hits, but it's just still the right play. And I hit 1, but that's all I need. And it's a Charlotte, which is a good one. So in this entire scenario, like, I could have used my resources to push damage, right? But I don't want to lose control of the board, which is why I played the way I did. I definitely could have got Josh the 6 damage a lot sooner, but I would have used the last of my LB. I would have had less cards in my hand. This Ramza would have only entered play if I warped it. And instead, by doing what I was doing, it kind of forced Josh to make certain play. Like this Gilgamesh, I don't think he would have Gilgamesh me if I didn't play the way I did. So now we have an Ifrit special on the Charlotte. And any knight is lethal. Any water card is lethal. Because I can LB Beatrix. And I drew the water card. And I'm just making sure. Okay, this is just a misplay. It's not going to matter. Okay. I had lethal 2 ways, technically. I could have... just going back, I had a water and ice card. So I could have LV Beatrix here, have 4 knights, and then use Ramza, and that wins. But me victoring the Gilgamesh, I have 2 9Ks. He has 2 8Ks. I attack with the 9Ks first. The game's over. So 2 ways for lethal. I guess it's technically not a misplay because they both have a lethal line. But yeah, that's lethal. So, yeah. Then I get an interview after that, and I don't believe I have another feature today. I'll double check. Not in the first day. No, I don't. Okay, let's go to the second day. So I'm playing against Alex here, and he's on Mono Earth and Wool 7. And I'm first seed in Top Cut, and we're in top 4. And so that means for the rest of the day, I get to go first if I want to. And I will always go first, and I'll always play knights first because I feel like lightning water monsters can be comfortable going first or second. There are some matchups where you kind of have to go first, but this is like the perfect scenario for knights. It's you want to go first every single time, and I have that, so I should just always play knights no matter what. Um, so I'll be playing knights first game every time. Let's speed this up again. So I'm going to see, can I see my hand? So this is another no backups hand. Can I tell right there? No, just a Laswell. So let me back up a little bit. Sorry, guys. Okay, is this better? Miwa, Laswell, Steiner, 2 Miwas. Okay. Yeah, two Miwas. So I have a Gawain hand here. But with this hand, if I get Ahmad, it's pretty backbreaking. So that to me means I didn't pay attention, but I'm pretty sure I mulliganed. Then I draw Sid Wafir, which is normally, I think, a good draw. However, I know that I'm playing against Wool 7, and Alex has exactly one burst in his deck, and it's Arya. So I have to make the decision, do I care more about the backup basically being blank, or do I care more about having 2 cards in hand? And because I have Laswell, I choose to keep cards in my hand. So I go for the optimal knight play, which is turn 1 Gawain. And if I have a backup, I'd play, like a Larsa, whatever it is. Normally, I would play the backup because of Ramza. I could turn 2 Ramza. But I decline because I'm going to Laswell and then attack next turn, unless something goes drastically wrong or different. There's a chance, I'm pretty sure if I had another fire card here, I would warp this Ramza because I have no backup. However, and especially because I have Laswell, an ice card. So if I had another fire card, I would warp the Ramza. But and I could have searched for another Steiner instead of Krilla, but then I wouldn't have anything to bring back. So I keep the Ramza. So this is, proof of everything. And I think I just hold back, or am I warping now? There's a good chance I warp now, actually. Yes. Okay. I don't remember what Alex does this turn. But there's pressure of all angles here. First thing I'm thinking of is like worst case scenario, cloud my Laswell, right? But then we go Ishtola. Okay, so this is a turn that um, Lopez pointed out to me that was kind of a misplay. I play a knight here and I dual freeze the Ishtola when I could have frozen the Sarah FFL, and I'll let the turn play out first, and I'll point out why I did what I did and why he said what he said. So I'm forcing the Y'shtola cancel here. He doesn't have to. So that's the thing, right? I've targeted with Dull Freeze on Y'shtola. If he says that's fine and lets me flip with Corolla, and thinking he's going to cancel my ROMs the next turn or whatever, well, that's also fine. So I think this is a misplay. However, because I'd still get to attack with the Lazo because Y'shtola would be Dull Frozen. However, with this line, now Seraphitel's not Dull Frozen. I'm going to attack twice. Assuming there's no burst, Alex is going to discard a card and go to 2 cards. One of them is Wall 7. And draw for turn. So he'll have 4 cards total, one of them being Wall 7. If his backup is Dull Frozen, he cannot play the Wall 7. And that's why it's a misplay. And I was worried about the Ramza being canceled, but I don't think that's what this game's about. And here's the thing too. Alex discarded 2 to play the Y'shtola, so that's 3 cards from his hand. Where for me, for Ramza, that's 2. That's a tempo play. I should be happy with trading my 2 cards for Alex's 3 cards, right? So this was definitely a misplay on my part, and I don't recall if I lost because of it, but he has one play and it's obvious and it's Wall 7, whereas he wouldn't have a play at all. So and we have the Ferris search as well. So this is a draw 2 with 2 forwards. So remember when I mentioned like 9Ks being a problem, right? Well, just thinking in my head, I forgot what the card is in my hand, but just looking at this board, I could red 13 here, and my 5Ks or 7Ks now, and they can attack. So, like, we're going to get a wall special, so the Dull Freeze doesn't happen. What's going to happen on the Seraphithil? I didn't pay attention to what I kept. So I have a Garland, a Laswell, and something. Agrius is the last card. So seems like a pretty straightforward thing. I think I'm just debating if I want to LB the Beatrix this turn as well. So I'm going to play Charlotte no matter what. But I'm pretty sure I'm debating, do I just play everything? Because what's the worst that Alex can do? And the worst that he can do is Gilgamesh. I guess Axstar is technically the worst that he could do, but I don't really care about that right now. And I'm attacking my Corolla here because I want to discard a card. So that means that, yeah, Axstar and Gilgamesh aren't, they don't even matter because I need him to discard a card. So if I play the Beatrix, then I'd have 6 knights. So this attack with Ferris, all the pings get negated because of Corolla. They all have to target Charlotte, and they all get negated because of Minwu ability. And that's the game. Okay, so that misplay ended up not costing me, but there was definitely a misplay in that game. KP 2 all day. Okay, so day 1, I 8-0'd. I definitely think there were some games that I may have got a little bit lucky with or got away with, and I don't think I should have 8-0'd, but I ended up winning. And on day 2, I lost a game to Alex here, and I lost a game to Sam Toole. So I did not have a completely undefeated record match-wise. Oh, match-wise I did, but game-wise I didn't. So I believe... So I did this a lot. It's me counting my deck. You can't see. I'm looking away, but you can't see it on the camera. I count my deck that way because it's just quicker. And yeah, so I went 8-0 day 1, and I won all the way through the winners bracket and then won in the finals. So that's 4 rounds. So that's 4-2-0. So it's 8. So 16. I went 16-2 in games, but undefeated match wise. So Wall 7 versus Water Lightning. I am very happy with this matchup. I think Water Lightning's favored by a lot, but I end up losing this game, which gets me a little scared. So when Alex plays Sylvester turn 1, my initial response is, "What nasty turn 1 card are you gonna play against me?" Because he has a lot of them. Because I'm a realm deck, so and sure enough he has the back to back realm counters here between Mog and Ishtola. I had the answer with the Behemoth, but theoretically I could have just clouded on turn 1 to remove the Mog 6. So I didn't have to have the Behemoth. So now I could also just cloud the Ishtola and pass and hope his last card is not the Warrior Light. However, I have a higher ceiling play, and I go for it here. And it's lightning on each hill. So this right here lets me know, do you have a wall special? And he doesn't. So I special lightning, and I get rid of 2 things here. And that's really big. Because the odds that Alex has a very big follow-up here is very little. So at this point, I'm the control player, and I'm just trying to manage my resources. And if we're trading damage like this in the long run, this benefits me tremendously because my curve is lower. It's easier to cast my cards, and the difference would be Gilgamesh basically. But I have Yagrash, so my stuff isn't going to be, my forwards aren't going to be dual frozen, but that is 3 attacks from the Gilgamesh. So I just have to be prepared for 3 attacks with Gilgamesh, and that's it. Knowing about Amaterasu here is big. Getting that Odin to break the Wall 7 is also big. I did consider for a little bit not breaking it, but I think it's correct to break it. And it looks like I don't have the best hand here. I debated playing this Marlboro just for saving. I was debating, do I want more Marlboros in play? Do I want to save the card in hand for a future play? Because I have Moss Slasher. If I could have played that Moss Slasher, I also would have played it, but I couldn't. So we have all the colors for Gilgamesh. And now I'm very likely to just cloud this Gilgamesh. Oh, I might Gao it now. No, I'm just going to cloud. Okay. So I play 2 cloud for this exact reason. I could cloud again, but now I think I'm Gowing. Yes, and this is partially why I kept the other Marlboro. It was just like keeping card equity. So I miss an attack here. And arguably it's not a miss, but I definitely should have attacked here, and it made me play differently the entire game. I should have Gowed. So I Gowed and then attacked. I should have Gowed and then attacked and then made like Behemoth a forward attack and then played Gilgamesh. So then I have 2 blockers. So even if Alex could untap here and play another Gilgamesh with 7 elements, I have 2 blockers because he has to target Yagrash. So I don't die. I only go to 6. And then on the following turn, I have 3 attackers. I have the Gao, the Lightning, and the Blue Worm. And Alex is at 4. So that would be lethal. So that was just a misplay on my part as well. Oh, I remember this turn. I don't remember exactly how it works, but the Kuja gets Marlboro'd, and then Alex tries to dole after blocking, and that doesn't happen. So I should have won this turn, but I misplayed, and it cost me the game, which made me worried about the next game because it's mono Earth against Water Lightning, and that's a terrible matchup for Water Lightning. So I dropped this game because I did not play very well. It's kind of crazy how to me, that's a simple mistake because Gao is kind of your like pseudo haste card, right? So I attack here and I trigger Malboro, and Alex is thinking here. So he blocks and tries to use it, but if he's blocking, that means Marlboro resolved. So now here I only have 6 attackers. So I'm thinking the same thing here, right? Gilgamesh is probably the best card. So I want a second blocker because I can beat a Gilgamesh. And I have a blue worm right here. So, and I don't have Leo in this deck. I have Leo and Knights because I think Leo should be in the more aggressive deck. And this deck can play aggressive or defensive. Yeah, we take the Warrior Lights in the deck, so we have to shuffle. And this is a game of thin margins, um, where it should not have been. It should have been. See, we see no attacks there at all, so that means he doesn't have the 7 elements, which I believe that's why he got the wall. He does if he uses a wall special, but it's not enough to win, so he didn't want to go for it because then he has no protection. So now I have to think, how do I get past these guys? So I also made a mistake last turn. Um, the maybe it wasn't exactly last turn, but basically I got rid of that Malboro to play the blue worm, so I could have just attacked one less time and kept the Malboro, but I also didn't think that this was going to happen. But the worst possible did happen here with Wall Special, Wall 7, and Gilgamesh. If I just had that Marlboro again, then this game's like elementary. It's over because all of them get -3. They're no longer protected, and I can just attack for the win. But I kind of threw the game-winning card away with discarding that Marlboro. So I made 2 pretty big misplays this game. And this is me going for a home run. It's like, oh, does Alex not have it again? Because if this realm resolves, that gives me the 3rd Marlboro, and then I win. I forgot to mention about Kalmia. I don't think Kalmia is very good in this deck, but in Lightning Water. But I felt like Lightning Water Mirrors came down to who plays better, and that card kind of just shuts it off. So, and here we see the wall specials. So I can only Odin this Ifrit, and I have to block everything here. Hang on. All right. The Gilgamesh is attacking. That's what it is. and I trade my blue worm for the third Gilgamesh deck. That's what it is. So I draw the best possible here, but it's still not enough. Just keep going. Yeah. Yeah, so that causes me to lose that game. That game was definitely winnable by a large margin, and those two mistakes, I had all the cards I needed to win. I just didn't play them correctly. So I kind of deserved that loss, but it goes to show, I still had like chances to win with that game, right? It just shows you how strong the deck is. But with perfect play, I had access to everything I needed to win. I just didn't play the cards right. I definitely think I played the best games of Final Fantasy I've ever played. I think I had zero misplays on day one, but on day two I was so shaky, and I don't really know. Well, I think I know why, but we're past that in this part. I have this like in my head. I had this like curse of day two of nationals. I've day two'd all of them that I've played in, but I've lost the first round, or was double ELM the first two rounds every single time. So I'd make top cut and then not win on day two at all. And this tournament was the first time that I've won on the first round. So that was kind of my goal. I just make day two first off. This was probably one of the hardest tournaments I've ever played in. It was kind of equal to Worlds format last year, but we had one more round on day two because at Worlds we had 8 rounds day one and then cut top eight, but in this tournament it's cut top 16, so we had one more round. Losers bracket had more than one more round, but yeah. So in theory, I'm going to pause this actually because I want to talk about this a little bit too. In theory, this tournament had the same structure, but it was harder, more difficult. And my goal was make day two, which is already hard. But then my next goal was win the first round of day two. And if it's not first round, win a round of day two. Like I could have went to lower bracket and then won. I would have been happy. So it was just I wanted to win a round on day two. Just keep it, one round at a time, and I did. So in my mind, all this is gravy, and I met my goals, and I'm already pretty happy. So that might be a little bit why I'm loosey goosey. So some typical water lightning stuff here of play backup turn one, play realm turn two. However, actually, did I play two backups on turn one? I did. So I did this probably because my hand was not great. Because sometimes water doesn't play two backups on turn one. But my hand was probably not great. And if I drew like a Lena here, I just would have played Lena pass and then played Realm the next turn. So that's probably why I did this. But also, against Mono Earth, you want Realm out as soon as possible. And you always want to search for Moss Slasher because you want to attack. So I don't remember. I'm going to pause real quick. I want to check Alex's deck list real quick. I don't think he does. Maybe he does. He does. So, Vincent, I want to attack while building up backups against Lightning Water, or with Lightning Water. Mono Earth always has access to Shantoto LB. I won a Mono Earth Chark match day one because they went turn one Tyro and didn't draw backups, so they had to Luso their Tyro. So they couldn't Shantoto LB anymore. They had Neo Exdeath in their deck, but that's something, knowing about that ahead of time is a big thing. Also, you play a lot differently when you know they have access to Shantoto LB every single turn. Well, if they don't have access to it anymore, then you can kind of, here's my wave of stuff, and here's my second wave of stuff. Can you beat the second wave, So in this scenario right here, I have two attackers, and there's a good chance I only commit like one more attacker to the board here, because if I commit anything more, Alex is kind of forced to Shantoto LB, and because he might lose. Always committed to playing forwards, right? The exception is if I have Leviathan to cancel the Shantoto. However, in some situations, that's not even good enough, because if they have 5 backups, they could Shantoto LB and have Miss Dragon as well. So a lot of context mattering here, and a lot of doing math on how much CP they have, how many cards are in hand, all that kind of stuff. But you wanna win as soon as possible. So I sat there and tanked for a little bit when I drew off of the Opkalu, because my last card was City Clan Goalie, and my head was like, I'm pausing again. In my head, I'm like, I'm discarding no matter what I draw. But then I drew the best card in my deck. Because like I want the Lev. I only play 2 Lev, so that's me discarding an answer to what I'm scared of. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. So I add another Witch to my hand, which is also pretty good, but I wouldn't commit the Witch if the Realm didn't die. So Alex plays a Kolka here, which is a little unfortunate, but it's reasonable because it's like a 4 CP kill a guy, so I'll accept it for what it is. But I am probably going to commit the Witch now. Yeah, Lina attack. Perfect time to Lina, because I don't even think Alex... Yeah, Alex declines. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, perfect time to draw the Lina. So now I'm pretty sure I'm committing another forward no matter what. Yes. So now I'm kind of in that game plan still. But look, I have more backups than the Mono Earth player. Yes, I have less cards, but I'm asserting pressure, and it's not... I don't need to play really any more cards. I can just kind of chill. I can be the control player until Alex turns the corner. So here we see a Shantoto backup, and I'm thrilled about this. I debated sacking the Opkalu, but I already have a Witch in the break zone, so I don't really care about that. Um, so now I drew Nolina, have a Rise. So we're still in the same spot. Alex wanted to kill the Witch, but also make the most CP efficient play. Oh, and he also has an interesting build because he can't play Wall 4 in this deck because it's in Wall 7. So he doesn't have the like Giga Leo Warrior Light turn in his deck. So in a way, he's a little bit slower, but also has this Fusoya, which is interesting. But now with the Shantoto LB in play, I'm not worried about, or sorry, Shantoto backup in play. I'm not worried about Shantoto LB anymore. So it's a lot easier to navigate. He has to have exactly Neo X Death. And so like I committed the second Moss Slasher because again I'm trying to win the game, right? And Alex has to have exactly Neo X Death, which if that's the case, I just witch it down and we're fine. I could wish it down and then Gilgamesh it away, and then I'm even more fine. Um, and I make a comment here to Alex. I'm like, you just don't want me to have a witch, do you? So I just let the witch die. I don't really have a reason to kill this Genova. It is technically bigger, but like it's still... There's a lot of things in my deck that can make this worth it. So I end up Odining the Genova. And then just attack twice. I might play the Marlboro, but I don't think I do because of this. And I end up having this third Lev. And that leads me to a sweet final turn. So Alex is forced here to go for this Neo. And I was fortunate enough to draw my second Leviathan to cancel. And I'm counting how many water cards are here, because if I had enough, I would possibly return it to hand. Knowing my next play, I wouldn't have, because I need a haster no matter what. So Lightning wins the game no matter what here. And I go for a Lunafreya turn here to get that Lightning. And if I hit, then I'm not completely out of the woods, but I'm so far ahead because Alex does play Love 6 in his Earth deck. So he does have bursts that interact in combat. And so top card of the deck. I just go for it. So even if we get a Love 6 here, it's not the end of the world because I would draw a card and I'd have all my cards still in play for lethal. And Alex has no way to answer my board anymore because Neo's in play and Shantoto's in play. And I get it. And you see me lean back in my chair there because this matchup is stressful. And see me pointing at the Lev and discard pile because I really didn't want to discard that for Siddiq Klangoli, but I valued developing more importantly. So I think my next one is against Cody. It is. All right, let's go back. All right, this game is grueling. Me and Cody have we have our opinions on Knights versus Wall 7. I think Knights is favored, like, I don't know, 60-40, maybe even more. And Cody thinks it's the other way around. And Cody's played a lot of Knights as well. And we were joking around. We were like, whoever wins this is the decider, which one it is. And I end up winning this game, but barely. I also do misplay in this game, I think, if I recall. But then after I win the game, I'm like, okay, maybe it's 50-50. And we just have a good laugh, and it was funny. So something to keep in mind here is Cody's Wall 7 deck, and I remember some of this, but not all of this, and I'm gonna mention this. His second deck is Knights. His Knights deck has Amaterasu, Clive, and Victora. I remember Victora, but some of my plays this game, let me pause a little bit here. Right here. So that Larsa's technically untapped. I can Larsa into Clive here. That's what's crossing my mind. I could also technically play this Laswell, and it sucks I have two Laswells, but I can't, like, Laswell and attack. So Cody getting another Tyvis means my Laswell's probably just going to die if I play it, so that's probably not my play. And so yeah, Cody not having Clive Ifrit is a big deal, and also I can go for anything I want because he can't stop me because he doesn't have a Amaterasu. I don't play around that because I'm not thinking that way, but it's funny because I am thinking about him not having Victora. I like met halfway. It was weird. So I hit Delita, two Delitas, two Beatrixes, and we joke. I'm like, well, I could get two Delitas here. Add two drops in my hand. And now I'm debating, do I add this Miwa back? Because now Cody knows about it, but it makes his Tyvis Axar play severely worse. Like, I don't have a water card right now. I mean, I have a water backup, so it's fine. But he's going to be playing around the Miwa the entire game now. And because I hit Delita, I didn't play Clive. If I didn't hit Delita, I probably would have played Clive, attack, drew two, and then passed. But instead, now I can play a little bit more controlling. So now, next turn, I have potential of Clive Ifrit as well. I'm basically, we're shortcutting. I'm basically like, okay, which one do you want to get rid of? And he sits there and he's like, man, I want to get rid of Beatrix, but I don't want you to LB Beatrix. So LB Beatrix is like so much better when you have Mew on your deck, because some people like to dull freeze it, and you're like, nah, I get to untap it and attack, and it's a blowout. So I'm debating here if I Gawain for Ramza here, and then probably Ramza. I definitely have enough cards for that, but it costs my whole hand. So I actually tell Cody. I actually don't know how much time I use on this turn, but it's definitely too much. Um, but I tell Cody, I'm like, I literally have everything in my hand, and I'm pretty sure I use my whole hand, and he finds out that yeah, I did indeed have everything. So, but yeah, I definitely should not have used this much time. Um, and I kind of want to analyze. Well, I want to see what I do first, and then I'm going to go back because I want to see if I made the right play. So I use Beatrix to reduce, play Garland, get back a Laswell probably, and then play Laswell, shoot for 5. Play Gawain, shoot for 5. Is that what I'm doing? Yeah, but I'm not attacking this turn then. So I'm dull freezing the whole board. And I'm wondering if I'm warping this. If I warp this, it's 100% a misplay. So, okay, let me finish, actually. I did warp. Okay, that's a misplay. Okay, we're going to go back to my hand real quick. A little bit back. I don't want to slow. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Miwa, Steiner, Clive, Gawain, Laswell. So right now I only have one ice card. So I could Clive Ifrit right here, but I'm worried about another Axstar coming down, which is why I didn't do it. I also felt like I should take benefit of this Beatrix. So like I could, in theory, let me see. So boom, boom. Yes, but it costs all my fire cards. I could, in theory, reduce with Beatrix, play Garland, get back something, play Clive, play Effort. I can do all that, but then my leftovers are Miwa, Laswell. So I'd have a Garland in play. I think alternatively, I can start with. So I discard Garland, discard Steiner, play Gawain, search for Ramza. So I'd be left with Clive, Miwa, Laswell. Search for Ramza and something else, and then cost reduce. So maybe Ramza fire card, so Steiner. Cost reduce, play Ramza, put and play Laswell to dull freeze the Axstar. Oh, no, I got it. I got it. Okay, so I wonder, is this better? This has to be better, right? Yeah, I could have just had a Ramza, right? Okay, let me. So 6 cards. So Miwa, okay, discard. Starting fresh, not using Beatrix yet. Discard Garland, Steiner. 1, 2. Yeah, Garland, Steiner. Play Gawain. Search for Ramza something. Yeah, Ramza stump something, whatever. Um, Play Ramza, but I keep the Laswell in my hand. Right? Okay, oh, cost reduce. So I'm going to take a screenshot here. And just keep this. Okay. So discard Steiner. Gawain's going to be in play. And Garland. And I add Ramza and Steiner, I guess. Okay, so now I have Miwa, Clive, Laswell. Okay. Cost reduce with Beatrix. So Ramza costs 5 now. So I can discard all these, play Ramza. Yeah, so I keep Laswell in my hand. Let's go back to it. So I'll have Gawain in play and Ramza in play and Laswell in my hand. Ramza can pick up or put in play the Garland I discarded, and then Garland can pick up an ice card, and then I discard the ice card to play Laswell. I have 4 knights. I dual freeze Axstar, and then I dual 4 to kills Ramus. That is the play because he takes the damage, and I have 6 knights, and Axstar is now dual frozen. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Cody's entire board will be frozen because the last Laswell I play is gonna dual freeze. Oh, I dual freeze Axstar, so he would get his backup back. I think that's better than what I did. Let's go back. So yeah, it's so much better. So instead of this being warped, it'd be in play. I'd have these exact same cards. So yeah, that's a big mistake. That's a sequencing mistake too. That's really bad. Dang. So Cody would have had 1 more damage, but he would have got a backup back. So I guess he could start with a Wool 7, but I don't think I care about that. Yeah, that's a big mistake by me. Dang. Anyways, sorry that took a long time. Cody starts with Tyvus in to play Ward to kill my Laswell, which I expected to not last very long. I'm trying to zoom forward now. This game ends up being 40 minutes long because of how grindy it is. So he clouds the Beatrix. Ramza goes to 1. So now I'm a little bit worried about this Axstar unfreezing. Attack with Krilla. He's never blocking the Krilla. I attack with Garland, and that's a mistake. He trades here. So that's a mistake because if I don't attack, next turn Ramza comes into play. Because I know Cody doesn't play Amaterasu. Ramza's coming into play 100%. So, but I didn't think about that in this because Wall 7 normally plays Ama. But I definitely should not have attacked with this Garland. Because Ramza comes into play, puts in place something else. That's minimum 10k to afford. That's already good enough. So that was a mistake. I should not have offered this trade. I play Leo, say go. Cody has free reign now, but he doesn't really want to kill this Krilla. So he kills the Gawain. So this Ramza is going to res the Gawain. So look at this example. Ramza bringing back Gawain. If I had Garland still in play, then Gawain's getting me 2 more knights. So like I could kill 3 things here, or 2 things. I kill the Mog. Oh no, he would sack the Mog. Okay, so I wouldn't even play the Gawain. But I would, yeah, I just wouldn't even play the Gawain. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Maybe I could play the Gawain and it would kill the Mog anyways, but I just wouldn't search for two cards. It would still be the result. It'd be put in play Gawain, he'd sack Mog, and I'd kill Ward or Axstar or something. But yeah, that was a big mistake on that one. That I won this game, but that, oh man, that's an ouchie. I'm upset that I didn't catch that. Yeah, so right here, I also misplayed this turn. I noticed Richie said this in the chat. Oh, my picture's covering it up, but he said got to be Garland into Laswell, right? And then it kills the Mog, and then I Clive attack, right? So if I pick up Laswell here, play it, Dolphrey Surges, 5k Mog, that leaves me room to attack with Clive. And if I draw a fire card, then I can kill Tyvis. Seems pretty good to me. That is not what I do, though. And I'm able to search because Cody doesn't gain priority here. So yeah, Richie's play is the best play here as well, and I missed that as well. So I have been playing this not so great. No, my only last attacker here is a Leo, which doesn't do anything. So I Surges the Axstar. So once this Axstar is in play, I just want it to sit there. And so far, so good. Cody plays his first Wall 7 of the match, hits 1. It is kind of important, though. So I will struggle in this game having 4 knights. I mean, look, I have 3 right now. So I draw Miwa here. But again, I don't have 4 knights. If I did, this is like the easiest turn of my life. But I don't. So I'm like, what do I do here? Do I LB Beatrix to 5k this Mog and go to 4 knights? But it's starting to become dangerous territory for me here. And again, all these mistakes, they're kind of cascading up here. So I do end up playing this Beatrix. And end up passing. So I am scared of Gilgamesh here. And I'm trying to figure out math here. Because if he attacks with Nimbus and Dolphreezes a knight, I cannot use Ramza or I lose. Well, I'd lose if he has a wall special. So we're kind of giving each other massive respect here. You'll see a lot of draw go in these turns because it's like if I go for it and I don't win, then the other person wins. That's what me and Cody are literally thinking about for like the last 3 or 4 turns in this game. So here, yeah, I just have to let that happen. And this is a free attack for Cody too. That's just like unfortunate. And I think this is where the Agrius has come into play. So yeah, Cody's thinking, he's like, I can't attack anymore because like he could attack here, kill my Ramza, but he wants to kill that, but he could sack his Lena to it too if he wanted to. So Ramza here's a free block to kill the Axstar, which is still unfortunate now because I'm dead to a Axstar again. But this is where it all begins: is this Agrius draw, and this is where I know: do you have a wall special? And the answer is no. So I gain that. That's important information here. And I'm just passing. This Agrius is a 7k right now because I'm at damage 4. Cody plays as a Romus, which is like one of the best cards here. But I know he doesn't have wall special, so unless he drew it. But if he drew it, I'm going to know like immediately. So I'm killing this Romus. And then he did have the wall special. And now he's going to cloud one of my knights, which was Agrius. And I draw another Agrius. So I bounce as a Romus. So he plays Romus again. And then I'm going to end up trying to kill it again. And it works this time. And we actually have a little bit of gamesmanship here. So I play I play Lilith. And I have an Amma in my hand. And I'm debating, do I keep the Amma? But I felt like night count was a huge deal. Because if I can live for like one turn here, it's a big deal. So he plays Tybus. I have to remove this on the stack or else Axstar happens and I lose. So can I win through that? And I actually thought I lost. The thing I noticed though was, and I almost messed up right there, was Cody can't party attack. So I have the biggest forward in play. So the only thing that gets through here is wall 7. And that's not enough. And what they're explaining right there, Cody was about to search before taking damage. That's not how that works. So Cody goes and gets a warrior. There were also a couple times this match where Cody thought he had Victoria in his LB, but he doesn't because it's in Knights. And I did make some plays. I don't think it was in this game. I think it was in the next game where I put him on. Okay, if he has Cloud, he has Cloud. But he doesn't have that many lightning cards in his deck. So, and here's that one attack. So he can't attack with Lena, Ward, or Cloud because Realms is a 9k. And the damage doesn't stick because I have a Cruella in play. So I didn't just lose like I thought I did. And now I like triple check if I have the win, and I do. I showed him the Amma because I was debating, do I keep the Amma or do I play the Lilith? And playing Lilith was right. So that's me pulling all my guys aside before playing anything. So I do this because I want to know, do I have lethal on board? And if the answer is no, what do I need to do to have lethal on board before I play any cards? And the answer is play a knight. So now this ward trades with everything on my board because it has 5k on it. And he's encouraged to, so right here, I should point out too, I'm like, I do have 4 knights in play because Charlotte wasn't mine. Yeah. So he has to block because he was about to take damage again. And just again, gamesmanship, just pointing out. Yeah. So I ended up winning that one, but that was much more of a struggle than it should have been. And if I just didn't make that first misplay. So a little bit of wiggly here. And as you can tell, so it's a 90-minute round, and we are 40 minutes in. So, but me and Cody know we're not gonna we're not gonna go to time. We're quick. We know when it's crunch time. So, turn one, back up. So turn one back up for me. And turn two Warrior Light, turn two Realm for me, hopefully, if he doesn't stop me. Oh yeah, I love this because I have the Realm. Yeah. And that Witch I discarded, that's a backup Witch. My last card in hand is another Witch. I remember that. So this is where I'm like, do I want to draw cards? And my answer is no, because I need a water card. I already have the Witch in hand. So getting both the Maw Slasher and Marlborough here, I have answers to everything now. I just need to have the Witch in play. So I need to draw the water card. And we're sitting there debate, you gonna 5k my Realm, bro? The answer is no, obviously. And I do draw the water card. I drew double water card. I mean, this is obviously Witch. If I draw another water card, I might get rid of it here to play Lena. I drew a Blue Worm. And now I'm debating, do I sack this Marlborough just to get in 2 points of damage? And I do. This is a little bit aggressive. And I don't need to do this because Cody can now play another Wool 7 and have protection, and that's a little bit risky. Marlborough is one of the best cards in the matchup when you're trying to board clear them, and I kind of just threw it away right there. So, however, this puts me in like a spot to like, yeah, see Cody right there tried to Victoria, but he couldn't because it's in the other deck. So, but this puts me in an aggressive spot to try and win the game as soon as possible. And I still can control the game, just not if he has a Wall 7 and a Wall Special. So Cody plays an Axstar here. And this is a little bit elaborate because I want to know what he's targeting. And so I'm actually pulling my cards out for Dull Freeze because it matters. And now I'm like, okay, I want to know what you're searching for. And that's what the judge is pointing out is stack order. And I'm going to kill the Alphino on the stack. And then I want to see what he searches for. And basically in my mind, I want him to pick a fire card because I want him to think he can Zack my Witch here. Because right now, Axar resolves, it's going to take 6k. And then he could Zack it and finish it off. And he does pick a fire card, I think. Yes. So now I'm going to respond still. So I point to it still on the stack. I'm going to kill your Leo. So now Zack isn't enough. So Witch is going to take 3k. And he can play Ferris, which in theory does 4k to the Witch. But then I kill the Ferris on the stack. And it doesn't. So that's what the 3 has 3k damage on it. That's what Cody's thinking about right now. But is he going to do it? We'd both go down to like no cards in hand. But in that scenario, I am favored because I'm a lower curve deck. I have my 2 colored backups in play already. And I still have the Witch. So like just drawing monsters off the top is kind of insane. Drawing a Lightning is insane. Yeah, so he goes for Gilgamesh here. So right now he does have 7. but my witch lives. So I'm taking the cards out of the sleeve to show that they're dual frozen. Draw a card. And Cody sat there and thought for a little bit because of this exact thing. He's like, I am so scared of your bursts, because he wanted to try and do something else. But I just told him, like, dude, you're gonna have to push through these bursts eventually. Like, they're always gonna be there, so you're gonna have to attack eventually. Like, it sucks that I drew two cards there, but they weren't. It wasn't an Odin, you know. So this Marlboro is just the best possible. So yeah, I target the Axstar because Gilgamesh is weaker. I'm gonna obviously kill this Gilgamesh now. I can't let that thing hang around. But now I have 4 attackers and I need 4 damage. So again, we're in that spot. So he's gonna kill the witch. But a lightning off the top wins. I actually have a lightning in my break zone right now. So that just does it. I don't need to do anything. And there's no combat bursts. So this should just do it. Yep. And that's game against Cody. And now it's just the final match, I believe. Oh, poor Cody. I should have played Cody in the final. This Mog 6, man. Lunafreya hit a Thordan, and Cody let him surge. Unlucky sometimes. Okay, so let's I have a discussion point in the hand here against Ryan in the final. It's gonna be a long video here. Got an hour and a half already. Okay, so this is Chark versus Knights, and this is the perfect scenario of I normally like Sid Waff in matchups like this, but it's a different element. I don't want to play ice cards because that usually is the third element. And so I always have to like debate and play around it. Like when am I going to play it? When am I not going to play it? All that kind of stuff. So, but like Mono Earth or 4-color Warrior Light, I play Sid Waff every single day. But Chark, it really just depends on the context of the game of when I'm gonna play it or if I'm gonna play it. So this hand is Elwyn, Ifrit, Laswell, Garland, Steiner, Gawain. So this is a pretty good opener. I'm guessing I turn 1 Gawain and Elwyn. I don't know if I'm warping. I doubt I'm warping. And I believe my turn 2 is going to be attack, play the Ramza, if I recall. Yeah, so there's that. Now this wasn't free, but I do have the backup plan because like Ryan plays Cancel Lev. And that's what I'm thinking. When I'm looking at my hand right here, it's do I warp this Ramza? So I'm probably going to search for Ramza and then play Elwyn and search for another Ramza. That's my guess. Yeah. And now I have 3 elements in my hand. And I joked to Ryan that I could have clived and attacked. And then he said the top card of his deck was a left 6. That would not have been good, huh? That would have been real bad. And then we were also joking around here because Astrologian is such a Ryan card. Oh, let's pause. This is a good hand. Can I see all 5 here? Okay. Astrologian. We chatted up and so because Ryan puts a card back on top. And I'm like, well, that's guaranteed a burst, right? He's like, I don't know, is it? And I'm just always putting him on a burst here. Um, that being said, the way my hand is, I can't play Ramza and Sidwolf. So I have to pick which one I'm playing. And if it's a card like Tyro, I want Sidwolf. If it's a card like Remora or which like is still good, Lev 6, I probably still want it. But you see what I'm saying? I got it. Some bursts I'd want it in play. Some bursts I wouldn't. Um, and that's why it's not always the best. But it just depends. And also, look, if I place it off here, I'll have 3 elements in play, which means like his next turn is literally Chaos and Arc, I can lose. The other problem here is, so if I had a water card instead of, so I have 3 ice cards in my hand. If one of those was water instead, I could go Sidwolf, attack, and then main phase 2 Corilla. That seems like a pretty good turn, right? I have no hand and I'd have a board. Yes, I could get Shantoto'd and blown out, whatever. But like, it's a game plan, right? And he has to have the answer. And I feel like this matchup is all about the Chaos Arc player. Do they have it? Yes or no? Like, I have to present my threats. I will always have my threats more consistently than they will have their answers. It's kind of all about their draw steps and their bursts. I know that's kind of base level there. Shocker. Just draw well, right? But like, more often than not, I'll always have my threats. And it just comes down to, do they have the answers? And if the answer is no, they lose. If the answer is yes, I lose. But I should almost always be more consistent than them. That being said, when they have the answer, I lose the game instantly. So that's the problem. And it's just something you're resigned to when you play Knights against Chaos Arc here. So I decide to not play the Sidwolf and just resign myself to Ryan bursting. But I get surprised here. All right. So that's why I'm sitting here thinking for a little while. The top card is a Calmia. It's not a burst. So, okay. Going into main phase 2, a lot of people told me I possibly misplayed here, and I think it's close. And again, for the reasoning I was saying before, I don't want to reduce chaos by 5 because I have 3 elements, or 6 to 5 costs, whatever. So a lot of people said I should have played Laswell here. But if I play Laswell here, then I have 3 cards in my hand. Like, what am I doing? Am I playing Leo as well? I don't know about that. Like, if I'm playing Laswell to freeze the backup and then Ryan discards a card, I don't like that position, because if Ryan goes Chaos Arc, then I lose both my forwards. I lose 2 cards in my hand. And with this kind of hand, I cannot bounce back. So I'd keep Corilla, obviously, right? But then, like, I play Corilla and what? Like, even if I hit 2 knights, it's still not anything crazy. So I don't like being in that position. So I don't go for the Laswell play. Even though Ryan would, like, discard a card and lose a backup. Oh, come here, cat. Cat's joining the show. Okay. I didn't want to put myself in that position. That's not the kind of game I want to play. So instead, I go for the Ramza. Does Ryan keep his cards? Yes. Does it open me up to Mist Dragon? Yes. I believe Ryan doesn't have Lev, because if he did, he would have had to have drawn it. And if he does, whatever. That's -3 cards. That's fine. That's if he Levs, then I get like a 0 CP 9K. And that's a pretty good scenario. But if he Mist Dragons, that's still fine, because that makes me have a 2 CP 9K. And that's still pretty decent. So I actually go for the Ramza play. Actually, I'm curious because I don't remember. No, I definitely keep an ice card here. I'd probably keep the Laswell because I need to bring back Krilla. So I'm definitely discarding the Krilla, which is unfortunate because Krilla would have been a nice follow-up. But I didn't have another Krilla, so I'm definitely discarding the Krilla. Oh, am I keeping Sidwolf? Wow, that's bold. So, yeah, Ryan has the Mist Dragon. So here, he can still do the exact same thing that I said with the Chaos play, but it is like his entire hand. So I don't know. The other scenario, I guess it would have been an entire hand too. Hmm. Yeah, maybe it was a misplay. Maybe I should have played the Laswell. Hmm. It's close. I don't know. I guess I would have had a Leo in play. No, I would have given him a Leo. He would have killed a Laswell. I would have had a Gawain still. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to. I don't know. Now Ryan does play Heck 5, and that also leaves me like in a bad spot against Heck 5, I guess. So I don't know. So this turn's an off turn. I just play Leo pass. And here's that Heck 5 I was talking about. And I point out the Corilla because I actually mentioned to Verdian that he should play Heck 5. And then, let's slow down for a second. Oh, that's a sick turn. Because Heck 5 kills everything except for Ramza and Corilla. And you kind of, yeah, you want to kill Ramza every once in a while, but like you want to leave those in play the majority of the time. So, whereas like Heck 5 kills everything else, and then you just have two generic 9Ks. So, hopefully you can deal with two 9Ks, which you should be able to. Um, and by the time you're ready to kill them, you won't care about them anymore. That's why I like the card in the deck. And then there's other just Wall 7 has a lot of things too. Opposing Sirens. Sirens a big problem for Chark. Um, Stuff like that. So I had a group of 5 here, and I play Sidwolf into Clive, which is sick. And it's like this is a perfect scenario. So Kuchelin here. Ryan can't gain CP here. He can draw and then discard randomly, but damage is already done. Yeah. So I'm gonna draw 2. He discards a live. It's good seeing that backup Shantotto and damage. This is actually a turn where I kind of wish I had another Leo LB, but I don't play 2. So I play as Beatrix, and it's a 3rd element, and I just tell Ryan, I'm like, look, man, if you have anything, I die, but I need to play a 3rd attacker because I put him on credit of having 1 removal spell. That's not very hard for him to do. And my haster's in play, so I was like, we need 3 attackers. I need to play this, so I do. And this is also pretty nice because I have the fire backup in play to prime my Clive. So and we are triggering Sidwolf. So Remora's on the stack targeting Clive. Um, and we have Sidwolf on the stack on top of it because he triggered an EX burst. And this is an Ico LB, and he's gonna arc my Ramza. So this is what I meant by Ryan can like remove my forwards. So at bare minimum here with this Beatrix, I can Heretical Knight Garland, which I think is what I'm gonna do. I could Kuja. I don't think that's right though. I usually like saving Surgis and Kuja for the game-winning turn. I could also Victora, get rid of Luna Freya, and then that's two threats again. And Ryan draw passes, which is huge for me. So I have Clive. I drew Clive Fire card. What a draw! So now I can Clive and Prime. And this is me. I tap and I'm like, okay, let's make sure I have another Ifrit. And I do. And I win that game. Yeah, Ryan chose his hand. So he did have the Chaos in the Arc, but he couldn't play it because he needed one more mana. Or one more card. Sorry, he needed one more card. And me garlanding him means he lost that 2 CP. That would have been perfect for him to do that. But also, again, Sid Waff. Right? Sid Waff kind of showed off that game. Ryan was locked under a specific amount of CP. If it was Lina instead of Sid Waff, yes, I would have had more cards, but Ryan would have had a game plan. I would have probably discarded those cards to the Arc. So I probably would have lost that game if it was Lina instead of Sid Waff. So that's a perfect example of what I was aiming for. So let's zoom. So now it's Lightning Water versus Chaos Arc, which is notoriously in favor of what Lightning Water here. And I have an interesting hand here. So it's actually kind of funny. I point out with Lina. So I had Sid Waff in game one and I have Lina in game two. And I'm like, this is an anti Ryan tech because he loves his EX bursts. It's kind of funny. So this is a good example. So Ryan's going to get Yuna and something here. Um, I think he switches from Miss Dragon. Now I think about it. But yeah, he does. So he if he plays this Yuna, I'm respecting Leviathan every single like second. Um because like turn two Realm here is usually the norm, right? I don't have Realm, but like if I could have it and play it, I wouldn't do that with this hand. This hand's sick. But this is like a perfect example of why you don't always go for it because like if I can play backups, like I'm not just randomly losing cards. And he has to preemptively miss Dragon because I have the lightning stuff too. So now he's gonna bounce a backup here. So now I kind of have to go for I don't have to go for the realm, but it's the best play. I could Witch and Maw Slasher to kill this Une, but my original thought here is Realm and then Behemoth down the Une, and it works. Now I normally want to keep Behemoth around for a little bit longer because he's a Calmia deck. And now I'm thinking about right here too. Do I just draw two? And I do. So when I do this, Ryan just knows I have Witch already, right? So I do keep the Behemoth around. So I didn't even Behemoth. Good. Now I play the Maw Slasher, and now I play the Witch, and trigger on the stack. I'm sacking, and I'm actually keeping the Maw Slasher in deck because, and I don't mind drawing it here because this is like a match. Yeah, Shantoto's a thing. LP Shantoto's a thing, but like attackers matter. So it's a matchup where I wouldn't mind playing another Maw Slasher if I drew it. And I gained a lot of information that turn, right? If Ryan had the cancel lev, he would have played it. So I just know he doesn't have it unless he drew it. So now he's animating my witch, and I actually debate, do I just sack a Maul Slasher here because I don't want him to draw a card? But I think that's overthinking it. Because that like pseudo 2-for-1s me, right? And every scenario here, I'm playing Lena before I attack. And he thorns for calling me out. So now my witch doesn't do anything. Now I can witch my own cards, which can matter for cards like lightning. So he does double burst here. He gets Une back. Bounces my Maul Slasher. I'm going to play it again because I want to attack. I don't know if that's completely right. I have a full grip here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to play it and play a backup. Yes. Okay. Now, he's going to win the exchange here on like resource wars because he has Une, right? He's going to Une my Yagrosh. That's just like me discarding 2 cards. But I had a hand size max limit anyways. So I'd rather him target my Yagrosh than my Reeve in this case. So, and here I'm like, yeah, you can just have this realm. So I'm wondering if he wants to try and kill my Maul Slasher. That's what crosses my mind. And this is the perfect turn for me to draw the Siren, and I do. And he does have the Arc. I find that out later this turn. But Siren's like the perfect punish to this turn. And now I'm trying to find out the best play for me not starting a stack. But he lets it happen. So now I'm like, okay, how many cards do I commit now? And this is a double chaos. So I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness. Okay, so now I can kill this and Gilgamesh it away. And I only have to worry about Lil Leela. That's what's crossing my mind when I see this double chaos damage. And the Siren trigger hits a forward. So let me go back real quick. Oh, I need to pause. So I play Witch, trigger on the stack. I sack Maul Slasher. And he arcs the Witch in response. And I could have sacked Blue Worm to target my own Witch. To not discard 2 cards. However, that means that I lose 1 attacker, which I think is a big deal in this matchup. Also, he has Ico in play, so he could crack the Ico, get back Arc again. But I have Siren still. And if he hits on the Arc again, then I lose everything. So a little unlucky on my side, revealing a forward from Siren. But I end up valuing the Blue Worm over my 2 cards in hand, which are pretty good, right? Like Lev and Lena. Lena gets back Witch, right? My hand's pretty good. However, I still have Lightning, I still have Siren, I still have Blue Worm, and I'm getting another Maul Slasher. So that's 4 attackers. Viridian's already at 4 damage, so I just let it happen. Oh, he's targeting my Siren. That makes a little bit more sense because he can just do it all later. And I draw from Witch. And now I'm deciding, do I sack the Maul Slasher or... Yeah. So now there's no more Arc. Unless he recurs. So I'm kind of playing the tempo game here. I'm exchanging my cards for damage. But he can't really stop me. So we get another Une, but I don't really mind this. And there's a Kalmia. So now the witch shrinking doesn't matter. But I was teasing him right there. Attack. Um, because it like lightning's in play. What's the worst that could happen? And Lev 6 was on top of my deck, so that's why I show it to him. So he would have got max punished. But now I'm debating: do I just cast this Lev 6? Because if I target the realm, it goes to my hand, and it's free. Ryan has one card in his hand, so the only thing he can do is Kuchel and me. So I'm thinking Lev 6, play realm, and this is where I'm thinking Behemoth, because this is the exact reason why I have Behemoth in my deck. Is when Kalmia is in play, your witch doesn't do anything, so you still need some kind of removal. And casting Odin's works most of the time, but not against Une. Une is pretty good against Odin's because your Odin's cost a lot, or the 5 cost doesn't even kill it. So this is exactly why I'm thinking like Behemoth belongs, in my opinion. So, and I'm just mathing this out. I'm also debating. This is why I'm taking a little bit of time, because I could get back Siren right now, and we could do some Siren fights again. So, but instead, I'm pressuring for damage. Is basically what I'm going for. So I got back Siren, but I'm discarding my stuff, and I kept my Lightning card. It's a Black Knight, so I'm gonna get Behemoth and some 1-drop, which is just Marlboro because I drew my Opkaluz. I'm checking 3 times because it's the finals. And he's gonna search. Siren's not gonna matter because I have a Marlboro. I think he just wants something of like an element. Probably doesn't have Une anymore. I don't recall. But I animate Blue Worm here too, because if for some reason Verdian can Shantoto with his hand, I didn't want to just randomly lose an attacker. So if he Totos and I lightning him, he just dies. 6 damage is like huge. KP, go easy on him. No, no, I never pull punches. Raiden's checking everything. Heck 5 into Une. So that's why he already had it. He didn't. So I'm thinking I need a discard outlet. I need to either naturally draw lightning, or I need a way to discard a lightning, like the 3-drop, if I draw it. And I drew a blue worm. Although it doesn't really matter because I have Lina. He bounced Lina. So, but if I Luna Freya, yeah. So it didn't matter. But what I was thinking is I need a way to discard the lightning if I hit it. And I did hit it. And now I can bring back lightning from my discard pile and win the game. So that's the tournament. Would I have changed anything? I kind of already commented on a lot of that kind of stuff. In this deck, I didn't really talk about it very much. It's just it really depends what the meta is on how I'm gonna play certain cards. But and then the 5-drop Odin versus 7-drop Odin, I think that is literally player preference. I think there's reasons to play both. I don't think one's better than the other. I've leaned both ways before. It just really depends. Like I've played 2 5-drops, I've played 2 7-drops. It just really depends on what you want to be doing. But yeah, um, I guess for the last couple seconds here, I'll put back up this Robo Akbel in case people missed it. Um, but yeah, until next time, it'd be kind of sick if Water Lightning was still good for Worlds. I'm looking forward to Worlds this year. Um, with Nats, uh, winning Nats, that is a checked box, and I feel like there's only one true one left. But I, if I can win Worlds, that would be the best thing ever. But I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm gonna give it my best. Um, I was definitely happy with second place last time as well. So just getting to the finals is already a great achievement, and winning it would mean the world to me. It'd be insane, but it's not going to be easy to make it back there. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a hard fought tournament, and I'm gonna give it my best. And I think that this year NA has a very good shot at winning because I think a lot of us have been there. It's kind of half of us are a repeat team of last year, and I think that is huge in terms of comfortability. Um, and it's in Japan again, so a lot of us going back to back to the same. I'm assuming it's in the same venue and everything, but um, even if it's not, just going back this similar environments back to back years, I think gaining comfortability there is a very big deal when trying to make great accomplishments. So yeah, root us on. Thank you for watching. I know it's a bit of a longer video, and I'm gonna do what I can. I will give you guys a little bit of a secret here. I'm gonna try to do a vlog of Worlds. I really wanted to do a vlog of Nats, but I ended up not doing one, and I kind of regret it, especially after winning. But I want to do a vlog of Worlds because I feel like vlogs don't really exist very much in the Final Fantasy world anymore, and I think that'd be really cool to have one, especially of like the highest level event. So I'm gonna do what I can to have one. I don't know if I need any special permissions or not, or if they'll allow me even, but that is something I'm gonna try and do if I'm able to. So, alrighty, thank you for watching, and until next time, see ya.